How do you get started? Where can you get money? Should you start big or start small? Where can you find land? What production methods should you use? You can find answers in the ThinkFARM Project's Guide for Beginning Farmers and the Resource Kit from Nova Scotia farmers. You can also learn from the varied experiences of our featured farmers.
We got into farming because we wanted to do something where we could live in this area. And we both had other jobs, but we also wanted something that we could do ourselves. And when you don't know anything about farming, and I'm an engineer by background and Evelyn's a teacher, then you don't understand really what you're getting into when you get into it.
Animal Vegetable Miracle, Barbara Kingsolver. She had been one of my favorite authors anyway. And I couldn't believe there was a book she had written that I hadn't read. I just started going different places with it and found other authors and other things happening, and that's where I found spin farming. And that was created to market and garden in the city.
I found out about an ecological agriculture program at Linnea Farm on the west coast of British Columbia. And so I applied for that and I got in and I completed that. It's a year-long program, and that's where I just kind of fell in love with farming and knew that that's what I wanted to do.
As we were investigating the types of crops that would grow well here in Nova Scotia, our good friends came to us and told us that they were going to move and asked if we would be interested in purchasing their business. Well, the timing was perfect. We had just inherited the family farm, and they came to us with this business proposal to purchase their plants and their various recipes and to give us a training program.
I went to the Agricultural College in Truro. I spent 4 years there, got my agricultural degree. Then I proceeded working with farmers. I did that for about 7 or 8 years.
We found a pair of gentlemen. Their families weren't interested in the farm as it was. So I approached them one night, just knocked on the front door and told them what I was interested in, that I was here I wanted to buy their farm. And it took 17 months of give and take and negotiations and business plans for that all to come about.
I came to Canada, worked on a large grain farm for 3 years in the Annapolis Valley in Canning, and then started this place here.
I found work on another certified organic farm in the interior of British Columbia. I worked there for 5 years, and that's where I learned a lot of the systems and techniques and skills that I put into place on my farm here, and I basically used that as a model.
Started our farm with doing custom work and doing small acreage, and doing the custom work allowed us to buy newer gear and be able to afford stuff that we might not have been able to afford before.
The soil map actually directed me to this particular part of the shore after searching up and down the road here, and I found a piece of land that is exceptionally well drained and allows for vegetable cultivation and these kind of things.
When I started out, I realized I had a lot of education to do and a lot of reading and training, and there wasn't a lot of resources available, but we managed, and a lot of it was trial and error.
We decided to get into cranberries. The first thing I did was go to a cranberry course. It was 10 years ago. It was a 2-day course, a lot on how to build a cranberry farm. And they said a lot of things like hire somebody else to help you, learn how to do stuff, hire an engineer to help with the design, hire somebody else to help with your contracting. We decided that rather than do that, we would rather do it ourselves, but do it much more slowly. So we actually bought our own equipment and developed our own application for the environmental assessment and went through the whole process ourselves.
We started out mostly renting land because it helps keep your overhead costs low, and you're able to expense your land rent.
So we decided we really wanted to grow as much as our own, even though we live in the north and in the city, and then maybe we could make money at it.
So we started off with only 2 acres, and then we learned all of our lessons on the 2 acres, and we actually ended up replanting those 2 acres. Where many other people, when they want to get into something, they want to be really big, really fast, and we decided to take it very slowly and in small steps.
At first we wanted to homestead more than farm, but then after a while we decided we want to do more and more. And then about 6-7 years ago, we we decided it's about time to start farming full-time. We had evolved to a kind of a part-time farm, and it's been about 7 or 8 years now that I've been farming full-time.
We went to the fall fair, and Evelyn made up some products, and we had the recipes printed out on recipe cards. And we said, you can make this cranberry sauce. If you buy our cranberries and use our recipe, then you can make the sauce yourself at home. And a lot of people said to us, no, we don't want to be in the cranberry sauce. We don't want to make our own cranberry sauce. Just sell me a jar of that sauce. And so we got into the processing business. And we actually sold more than half of our first crop processed.
We did everything on a very small scale at the beginning, and then each year we increased it, sometimes doubling it, going from 100 to 200 chickens, and then learning mistakes, doing small mistakes as we went along. You know?
Basically, we took it in small enough bite-sized steps that we could afford to start. We did borrow some money, but I kept my day job, and Evelyn was home with the children at the time.
Half an acre in the first year, and then eventually grew to a total of 30 acres of field production and a few greenhouses to produce transplants and greenhouse vegetables.
Do your homework. Take a look at the good and the bad. Be honest with yourself. First way to start is to learn about what you want to do.